Hey guys, I hope everybody is doing great. So, in today's episode, we are going to talk about your favorite topic, which is what is the meal plan or diet plan or nutrition plan for a healthy lifestyle or to gain muscle or to lose weight. So, before we go ahead talk about this, I would like to make sure that you watched episode 1 and 2 and had put your goal down. Guys, putting your goal down is the key here. Without having a goal, you cannot really put down your meal plan. I encourage you to put your goal down first. If you haven't done that yet, please pause this video, put a goal down, and then do watch this video. Before we go ahead look into this topic, here is the quick recap of what we have seen in the previous episode. Put down your goal, break it down into pieces, and put some sort of measurement criteria for you to track if you are really getting there or if you're not. So whenever a celebrity is training, he has a lot of resources. So I want you to think about it. Think about the resources you have. Think about the resources you could afford. So considering all these factors, set yourself a realistic goal. Do not also compare with your neighbors, with the guy working next to you, because you have your own genetic disposition and you also have your own metabolism rate. And now let's talk about a do. Exaggerate your timeline. Remember, I'm not asking you to fake your timeline. I'm asking you to exaggerate your timeline. I hope that helped you recollect what we have seen in the previous episodes, and now you're ready with your goal. Now, since you're ready with that, let's go ahead, take a look into the meal plan. I know you are excited to know what exactly you should be eating or not, but let me tell you one thing. Before we get there, there are key components that we should know. There is basic science. I know you're not a big science freak, but it is essential for you to know these basics. I'm gonna run through these really quick. Okay, I'm not a big fan of talking of them either, but you have to know them. Any meal is basically comprised of four key components. And the first one is protein. Guys out there love protein for some reason. I love it too. Protein, what is this? This helps us not just build our muscle, but also helps us repair our tissues, and it also helps us generate enzymes and hormones. And the next one is carbohydrates. Carbs, what they do is they help the body function. They help the physical exertion, and they also help the digestion and absorption of the protein that you consume. You might be taking a lot of protein, but if you're not taking the carbs, your body is not going to absorb whatever the protein that you have taken. So you do need carbohydrates for the protein to be absorbed into your body. It is further broken down into three. One is simple carbohydrates, which are sugars. It's delicious, but still not a healthy option. And the second one is complex carbohydrates. These are the carbs that you should be taking. You basically get these from oats, brown rice, quinoa, sweet potato. We'll be looking at the sources of where we get these from further down the video. And the third one is fiber. So fiber is very essential, and you basically get these from vegetables and fruits. And other than carbohydrates, we have fats. So fats are basically broken down into three different fats. One is saturated, the other one is unsaturated, and in unsaturated you have two, which is monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Out of all these, polyunsaturated is not just considered important but essential for your body. It helps your heart function, like omega-3 fatty acids. That is the reason why dietitians or physical therapists or primary physicians basically recommend taking this, because that helps with your heart function. Guys, before we go any further, I would like to make a statutory warning here. I am not a doctor or I'm not a certified dietitian. So if you have any allergies or if you have any physical illness, please do consult your primary physician before you go ahead, watch any further and put down your own meal plan. Please do consult with your doctor if you can eat everything that you had put down for yourself. And that said, we now know what are the components that basically make up any meal plan. The reason why I wanted you to learn this is you can always put down a plan, or someone could give you a plan and you could follow that. But once you go out, once you go to a restaurant, you will not be having an idea. You will not be having the same menu as you had in your plan. So the menu is going to be different, but you need to be able to understand which one is good for you. For you to be able to understand, you need to understand what these components are, right? So be aware of this and be informed of this. That helps you a lot wherever you go. Now, since we know what are the components that basically make up, let's just jump into the system. What I want to do is share my screen here. What I want you to do now is go ahead, type in calorie needs calculator in your Google search bar. So the first one that comes up is Mayo Clinic. Key in your basic details here. I'm gonna say 5-7. Guys, pay attention to this. This is in pounds. This is not in kilograms. Pay attention to this. So here you have another option to switch to metric units. You can hit that if you like that in centimeters and kilograms. So you hit your gender and you go to the next page, and this is the reason why I like this. It asks you your level of activity, because calorie intake always changes with the level of activity. You might be working for 5 days a week, you might be working for 3 days a week. If you're working for 3 days a week, you do not need as many calories as you would if you're working out for 5 days a week. So I'm hitting very active and I'm gonna say calculate. So it says my estimated calorie needs is 2750. Everybody has their own meal plan, and the reason is, as you have seen, when I entered in my height and weight and age, I got 2750 calories. But if I did the same thing for a different weight, say I'm a 35-year-old woman who is 5'5" and who is 165 pounds, who is not really active, so the calorie intake would be 2200 for that age, for that height. So now you understand that my meal plan cannot fit to you. Your height, your weight, your goals determine your meal plan, the number of calories you take. So for this reason, guys, please avoid asking meal plans from random people that you meet. You cannot really go to a guy who is looking really built in the gym and say, can you please share me your meal plan, right? Do not do that. So that said, let's go ahead, take a look at our step 2. So step 2 is basically identifying or knowing the sources of protein, carbohydrates, fats, and fiber. So you have egg whites, chicken breast, blah 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 for protein. Carbs, these are the sources of carbs, and these are the sources of fats. And vegetables, fruits, and berries, you basically get a lot of vitamins and fiber from these. Now let's go ahead, take a look at step 3. I want you to put down one source of protein, one source of vegetable, and one source of carbohydrate as part of your meal. So it could be 5 meals, 3 meals, 6 meals, doesn't matter. First, I want you to prepare a combination of meals. And once you come up with that, this is how it looks like. I just want you to say, okay, I want to have shrimp with baked broccoli and sweet potato. This is going to be my meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, blah, blah, blah. You just go ahead, put down all that. So in the next step, what you do is you try to understand how much protein does your body need. Now, how would you know this? You doesn't have to worry, because scientists already did their job and gave us some sort of recommendations. And per their recommendations, what they say is, for a regular human being, he requires or she requires 0.7 to 0.9 grams of protein per 1 pound of body weight. So for example, if I can just take myself, man, I'm 148 pounds. So for every single pound of my body, I would require 0.7 to 0.9 grams of protein, right? Which is a recommended quantity. Now, that is for a regular people, as in who wants to sustain their body, but who does a lot of endurance and strength training. They need more protein. For that, they recommended 1.5 to 1.7 grams of protein per pound of body. So considering that, I have come up with this calculation. I said I'll use 1.6 grams multiplied by my body weight. That gives me what? 236 grams of protein. So I require 236 grams of protein in my meal plan, and I require 370 grams of carbohydrates. So the recommended intake is 2.5 grams to 4.5 grams per pound of body weight. And finally, the fat. They did not give X number of grams for X number of pounds of body weight. They just said the fat should be 20% of your calorie intake. So that said, this is the step 5, 6, whichever step we are at. We go to our next step where we try to put down the actual grams of food that we need. So as you know guys, here we just had the combination of foods. But for us to fill this information, we need to know how many grams of shrimp, sweet potato and baked broccoli we are using. So for us to do this step, for us to finish this step, we're gonna once again require our Chrome. Let's go there. calorieking.com. I like this website. I personally prefer looking into this website because it gives me an option here to select whether the measurement is a cup or an ounce or a gram. I have not seen any other website help me with this information. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna just simply key in the food that you have actually picked here. So sweet potato, okay, I just typed in the same thing and this page came up. Once I opened it, I got the numbers here. So now I'm gonna select in grams. Now I'm gonna say, let us say 100 grams. So with 100 grams, how much would I get? I get these and these numbers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just key in that same information here. 2 grams, 20.7 grams, 0.2 grams. So it gives me the calories here automatically, and that's just giving me because I have this formula entered here. This is basic. You should be able to copy the same thing and do it. Just like this, I'm gonna search for everything else. Fashioned oats, old-fashioned oats. It says 3 grams, 27 grams, 5 grams. Where is the oats? 27, 3. So once I key in all this information, so I'll just go ahead, continue keying in all this information just like this, looking up in the website. And finally, it gives me a total number of calories here. So what I would try to do is, let us say it initially gave me 2595 calories. That is because I considered 100 grams of sweet potato, right? But for me, how much do I require? I require 2750. I need to match this number. So what would I do? I would try to see, okay, I will bump this up to 150. Let's see what happens. So let's go back to this page once again. Let's type in 150 and it gives me 31.1 and 3 and 31.1. right? Now it is 2641. So I'm gonna bump it up by another 200. It doesn't have to be just the sweet potato. I'm just considering that an example. So it depends on the food. You could keep changing the food, whatever. Let us say you have ground chicken. If you're using 150 grams of ground chicken, if you're using 50 grams of quinoa, you could probably add another 100 grams of quinoa to bump up these numbers and match this number to 2750. So with all these permutations and combinations, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna arrive at the actual number that best works for me. I know this takes time. It took almost 3 hours for me when I'm preparing this for the first time. And guys, invest this time. I highly encourage you to do that, because if you do not invest in yourself, you can never succeed. And this is the best investment that you could do in yourself, because if you do this for once, you're gonna keep on changing this again and again, just within like 15-20 minutes. You wouldn't require a lot of time to do this. So so go ahead, do this once, and you should be able to come up with the best meal plan that you could ever have, and that works. Now the point with this is, you doesn't have to just say, hey, I'm following this meal plan because my dietitian gave it, or I just grabbed it from a friend. You have a rationale behind why you're following this. You came up with your own plan. You know the science behind each of this. You know each and every calorie behind this. And the beauty behind this is, once you go out, whenever you're having lunch, dinner outside, whenever you get your menu, in that menu you're not gonna find all these nutrition facts. Well, there could be restaurants who provide that, but that's a different story. Most of the restaurants do not provide this, but you have an idea of what you're eating. If you're eating chicken, you do know that in chicken, basically, looking at the weight of the chicken, on an average, you're saying that you're consuming 67 grams of protein, right? So that is how you basically have the knowledge and make an informed decision even when you're outside. So go ahead, guys, put this down, make sure that your calorie needs are being met. So when I put these numbers down, as you can see, I'm getting 2781 calories. I love this. Now I consider this as the perfect meal plan, because not just because it is something put by me, but because it follows a couple of other principles and it meets certain other guidelines set by the standard industry, and not just from one school of belief, but from multiple schools of belief. I will, however, go ahead talk about all those details in another video, because it's a lot of information already in this video. Keep an eye open, guys. Subscribe to the channel. You're gonna get a lot of information that is really useful and is gonna make you wise. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, and do hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications immediately when I post a new video. Also, do share the same video with friends who really need this information. If you think this information is really useful for you guys, go ahead, hit the like button. There are a lot of other topics just from this screen that we'll be talking, why I'm starting at 4 a.m. or why I am having the protein supplement at 6:30, which is while I'm still in the gym. We'll go ahead, take a look at all those topics. Go ahead, use the information and put down your plan. If you have any questions while putting down the plan, please do let me know. I'll be glad to help you. Only when I find that you did put some sort of work there, do not please ask me to just give you some sort of plan providing me your height and weight. It takes a lot of time for me to do that. In our next video or the episode, we are going to talk about the workout routine. Understand that just like the nutrition plan, the workout routine is also going to be different from one person to the other. And why is that? And how can we put down our own workout plan is something that I would teach you in that episode. Stay tuned, guys. I love you all. Take care.